Welcome everyone to the Richmond Shakespeare birthday celebration today. I'm delighted to have so many of you coming out in the cold weather to join in this day of celebration. My name is Ray Ontico, and I'm the president of the Richmond Shakespeare Festival. I have a number of distinguished guests with me today. To my left is Superintendent of Richmond Community Schools, Alan Borth. Dr. Alan Borth. On my right is Mayor Sally Hutton, and the man of the hour, Mr. William Shakespeare, is here with us. Today we celebrate William Shakespeare and the many contributions that he has made to our culture and to literature in English. Today we also celebrate the launch of the 2014 Richmond Shakespeare Festival. Two particular things that we'll be launching today. We have a new logo, which you see on a number of t-shirts around the room, and you've seen there. The artist for that logo is present. His name is Carvin Reinhardt. I'll point him out. We're very excited about our new logo. We also have a new website that's gone up today. We don't quite have ticket sales open yet, but there's plenty of information about the shows, about how to get involved, and so forth. So that's part of what we're launching today. Why celebrate Shakespeare? First of all, there are a number of enduring insights into the human condition that I believe we can attribute to William Shakespeare, that his understanding of human frailty as a source for comedy, tragedy, and events of historical significance are important. And I think it's important that we recognize that and celebrate that. He's the author of 38 plays, comedies, tragedies, and histories, of 154 sonnets and 2 long narrative poems, lots of poetry, and has introduced quite a number of words, some claim as many as 1,700 words being introduced into the English language through his works. And just as a point of context, his writings are even older than the King James Bible. King James was his patron, but most of his work came about before the King James translation, the commission of the Bible, translation of the Bible commissioned by King James. And most importantly, though, these works, especially the dramatic works, are a context for much of the comedy and drama that we experience today. I think it's the context in which other things happen that makes them significant. So we're here to celebrate that legacy and that contribution. Today we're also celebrating the launch of the Richmond Shakespeare Festival. I'll give a brief history of it. Last year, a number of folks got together and put together a show called The Tempest, one of Shakespeare's plays, at Richmond Civic Theater as a fundraiser for the Studio 10 program at Richmond Civic Theater. And those folks include Josh Robinson, who is one of the directors of our show this year, and Andy Starr and Kevin Harvey, and about 25 other people who were involved in the cast and crew. So we're very delighted that that awakened in us an appreciation for the enthusiasm of Shakespeare in our community. It was well attended, extremely well done, and folks were looking around at each other and saying, wow, that was fun, let's do more of that. And so a number of us explored that idea, and today, and the coming festival, is the fruition of that exploration together. A few other things inspired us to move forward. One is that this is, of course, the 450th anniversary of the birth of Shakespeare. We're not quite sure exactly the date on which he was born. He was baptized on this day in 1564, and it's widely assumed that this was his day of birth. It's also 2 years away from the 400th anniversary of his death. He had the odd fortune to have been born and died on the same day, but both of them on the same calendar day of the year, and 50 years apart. So 2 years from now, we'll be celebrating his legacy again as at the time of his death. And in between all that is Indiana's 200th birthday. So there's a lot of celebration going on, and we felt like this was a good time for us to step up to the plate, as we say, and see if we could do something exciting, building on the work of the Tempest and working in the context of these celebrations going on. I also feel that theater is in Richmond's DNA. It's an important part of our community fabric. We have a number of successful theater operations going on in town. In addition to Richmond Civic Theater and the theater programs at Earlham, we have an annual melodrama festival, if you will, going on at the Wayne County Museum, and have occasional productions being done by other independent groups. So we feel that we're just a city, a community that is really good at coming together to do theater together, and we felt like it was part of what we could do. As the organization came together, we recognized that there were 4 pillars upon which we could build an organization. The first I call the artistic achievement pillar. The second I call the pillar of educational opportunity. The third is a pillar of community engagement, and the fourth is a pillar of economic development. I'll say just a little bit about each of those. In the artistic achievement area, we hope to produce works that are fresh, accessible, and relevant. There's no point in doing Shakespeare or any play if people don't have access to what's being said and why it's important. So we grabbed onto those early. And that means not that we're going to completely disregard the words or tradition of Shakespeare, but it's in that context that we wish to do something that will be meaningful and relevant to people and will seem fresh. Much Ado About Nothing, for example, as we presented this year, will be staged in 1919 here in Richmond. And you'll recall, or as I'm reminded, in 1919, Prohibition came to an end. It was also the beginning of the women's right to vote, and it was the beginning of the jazz age, and it was a very exciting time musically in Richmond. So we hope to celebrate that a little bit in the way this show is staged, and create some familiar context for some of the themes that are presented in the show. Similarly, Romeo and Juliet will be staged, not in a particular time and place, but in a familiar time and place to contemporary folks. There will be familiar costumes and settings that we use there as well. And it's not just a love story. It's a story about bad parenting. It's about parents who fight. And maybe that will be relevant to some of our attendees. So we hope that these will be artistically successful elements of our festival. We also celebrate educational opportunity through the work of the festival. Clearly, Earlham, IU East, and Richmond Community Schools have many opportunities to work together in this context. And in fact, the very existence of the Richmond Shakespeare Festival organization grows out of people who are deeply involved in each of those 3 organizations and are committed to this work together. And so we formed the organization partly as an umbrella for that collaboration. Out of that, a couple of other educational opportunities have arisen. One had its launch on Saturday this last weekend, on April 19th, at Two Sisters Bookstore. Let me hear a shout out from somebody involved with the Two Sisters Bookstore. Is Kate still here? No, she was here just a second ago. But at the Two Sisters Bookstore, the group that we call the Sonneteers have put together a series of educational workshops and a day of celebration, and that was our first sort of public event. And we also have a group that we call the Outshakes, which is a internal theater troupe that is engaged in educational presentations, public performances for public relations for a group and for general entertainment in the community. So we have those educational opportunities that we're exploring. We also have many opportunities for community engagement, and clearly we're engaged with RMI East and Richmond Civic Theater. We're pleased to have them as partners in what we're doing. We also have the Richmond Parks Department. This building is an underutilized but wonderful asset in our community, and we immediately grabbed onto the facility here in the park here as a place for the festival. And we'll be exploring use of the facility. You can see as you look around, there's some spike arcs and chalk lines on the floor. Imagine this space being converted into a theater with a large truss stage coming out in this area. I'm sort of in the middle of stage, a little bit up. That area will be seating all around. At the far end will be the dressing area, and at the far end will be the lobby. So we'll be transforming this with approval of the state fire marshal into a workable space for a theater. We're delighted to have the support, the generous support of the Richmond Parks Department as part of that. We're also collaborating with others in the community. I'll mention Morrison Reed Public Library. They have generously agreed to sponsor a free film festival that includes 4 film presentations. There are 2 different versions of Romeo and Juliet that will be presented, 2 different versions of Much Ado About Nothing, and of course everyone's favorite, Shakespeare in Love, to provide a little bit of context for us as we move forward. As I mentioned, Two Sisters Books and More have been a part of our collaboration, and others in the Depot District. We'll be attending the Warm Glow Community Day on May 3rd. We'll be involved with the Taste of Italy Festival on May 10th. We'll be part of the first Lumen Glow celebration on June 4th with the balloons in the Rose Garden. And so we're reaching out and asking everyone to be engaged in the festival, and us reaching out and engaging in other activities. Some of the economic development opportunities that are available are pretty obvious. To the extent that we attract audiences from outside the immediate community, we're a source for new income in the community, especially for hotels and bed and breakfasts, if that's the way to put it, and beds and breakfasts. Restaurants, the chocolate, beer, and wine folks, I like to call them, folks that have specialty foods. Yeah, shout out for the beer. Are also getting involved and getting interested by creating specialty chocolates, specialty wines, and specialty beers for as part of the festival, and will be hopefully part of our tourism as well. So that's a brief introduction to the Richmond Shakespeare Festival and why we're here today. I'm going to turn things over next to